Hi friends, how are you all? Preparing well for your exam? Hope so many of you have started solving the question bank which is released on official CBSE site. Today I am here to discuss with you one of those few questions from the question bank which are there in the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. The MCQs are already there with the answers. So, I will be discussing only the question answers which can be asked for 2, 3 and 5 marks in your paper. Let's start on with your small questions which comes for 2 marks. For answering such questions, you need to answer it in 20 to 30 words which carries 2 marks each. Fine? I have tried keeping all the answers very easy so that those students who are trying to find out the answers to the question bank's questions, it could be very helpful for them. So moving on to our first question. Our first question is, it is said that an animal's eyes have the power to speak a great language. Explain with reference to the tiger. So here it is how we can answer the question. This saying could be an eye-opener to some, but the meaning behind this could also be portrayed as looking into the eyes of an animal could cause you to fall deeply in love with them. You can see how I have not mentioned about tiger in this first paragraph of my answer. Okay, we will be referring tiger in the second paragraph. Tiger, being one of the most scariest wild animal, can even be very lovable if we humans try to understand these type of animals. And finally, to conclude the answer, this is how what you can write. As eyes of any living creature is the most expressive organ through which we can understand the feeling of that particular creature. I know this answer is quite big enough for just 2 marks answer, but yes, if you write it in different paragraph as per the introduction, then the main part of the answer and then finally the conclusion, so you will definitely score good. Moving to our next question. Our next question is, how does the poem point to the cruelty of animals in captivity? The meaning of captivity is the condition of being imprisoned or confined. So here it is how you can answer this question. We should not keep the wild animals in the zoo. By keeping them in the zoo, we are taking their freedom in our hand. That is not at all fair. In this poem, poet wants to make us aware of the cruelty done by human on animals. Imagine being inside home in the pandemic situation was such a bad experience for each and every human being throughout the world. If we human can feel so much trapped inside our own home, then it is a must that we should understand the feeling of those animals kept in the zoo far away from their natural habitat. Moving on to our third question, and the third question is, the poet celebrates the strength of the tiger in this poem. Counter the statement. And here is how you can answer this question. The poet wants to share with us his opinion about strength of the tiger in this poem. He says that the tiger should be snarling and roaring around the outskirts of the villages, where small houses are there, trying to create terror in the minds of the villagers. This is what is a tiger's natural way is of living, enjoying in his natural habitat. Let's move on to our next questions, which will be for your 3 marks. For 3 marks questions, you need to answer it in 40 to 50 words. And the first question for 3 marks is, do you think the tiger in the poem had lost its natural instinct due to captivity? Support your response with evidence from the poem. Now see, in this type of question, it depends on you either to answer it in yes or no. Okay, I have answered it in no. Okay, but it's at all your wish to answer it in positive way also, or maybe saying it yes also. So my answer is no. According to me, tiger in the poem hadn't yet lost his natural instinct due to captivity. It is said that you can take away a tiger from his natural habitat or his house, but you can never take away his house out of his mind. Finally, you can write, as the tiger in the poem is locked up in a concrete cell, he has no option rather than lying down on the rug and staring the starry night sky after the last patrolling car goes away. Let's move on to the next question. And the next question is, what do you think the tiger would say to you as a visitor? You may begin like this. Please stop staring. You have no idea, and then continue. Over here you can see the starting line is given in the question itself. But yes, it is at all your wish to start on with this line or something else. Because in the question it is mentioned that you may begin. Okay, so it is up to your wish whether you would like to start on with this line or something else. Fine. By the way, while answering this question, I felt very happy. Hope so. After going on with the answer, even you will feel much happier. So this is how you can answer the question. Please stop staring. You have no idea about how embarrassing it feels when people like you keep on staring me like this. Am I looking like an alien? Oh, I know. I look smart enough. Just look at my smooth skin, my sparkling eyes, and yes, what do you think about my teeth? Isn't they sharper than yours? Oh, come on. I know I am better than you people in every aspect. And that's the reason why you people are jealous of me and have kept me trapped inside this concrete cell. Let it be, never mind. Won't you click a selfie with me? Which pose should I take? Is this one okay? It seems so. You don't understand my language. See, I told you we animals are smarter than you people, as we can understand what you say. Okay, bye then. Have to give another pose for that another man who is shooting with me with his camera. Now over here, some students may have an argument that, ma'am, how do you feel like this tiger who has been trapped inside a cell or who is trapped inside a cage will feel so much happy enough inside the cage, isn't it? Okay, so it is at all your wish whether to make the answer in a funny manner or to keep it in an angry form, an aggressive form. Okay, yes, it is at all right that the tiger who is trapped inside the cell might be he is very much angry, right? So you can come up with that part also, like answering that way also. Okay, so it is at all your wish to keep it in a funny manner or in an aggressive manner. Moving to our next question for 3 marks, and the question is, write the appropriate response comprising of at least 2 reasons to present a counter of the following. Zoos should be banned. It's not right to keep animals this way. Now here also in this question, a beginning line is given, that is, that's just one-sided. Zoos are beneficial too. Firstly they, and then continue. Okay, so again it is up to your wish whether to start on with this line or whether to begin with something else. Okay, let's see what is my answer. So my answer for the question is, the first point can be, the animals become dependent on humans when they are in captivity. When animals are in captivity, they lose their natural instinct. Then when they get released back into the wild, the animals can't survive and a lot of them die. The animals look for humans to take care of them and feed them. But when they can't find them, they don't know what to do. They can't find any food, so they starve to death. This is the first problem that we can say because of the zoo, the animals are facing this problem. Let's come up with the next point. We should get rid of zoo because they take the animals away from their natural habitat. The animals can't live in the wild anymore, and zoos aren't safe for anyone. Some people say that animals in zoo live longer, but even though they could live longer, they live an unhappy and lonely life. We should not put animals in zoo. These are my views. It is up to you what views you would like to share on this question. Let's move on to the next part of the questions, which will be for your 5 marks. For 5 marks, you need to answer the questions in 100 to 120 words each. Let's move on with the first question for your 5 marks, and the question is, imagine the tiger writes a diary entry conveying how he feels helpless, angry and frustrated in the concrete cell. He writes about his desire to be free. Write that diary entry. Now see, first of all, I have seen many of the questions from the question bank which is released by the CBSE on its official site. Okay, and I have concluded that most of the chapters and the poems have this type of question which is there for 5 marks, okay, where you need to answer the question for at least 100 to 120 words each, okay, and the question is in the form of diary entry. Okay, so the first and the foremost thing is that each and every student have to be thorough with what is the format of the diary entry. Okay, fine. Now over here, if I can say is I have not answered this question completely. Okay, I have given the format or rough format of the diary entry and have given you the first line, after which you can just come up with your own idea. Okay, first of all, let me tell you what is there on the screen, and then I will tell you what else you can include in your writing this answer. Okay, so you may begin like this. First of all, the date, that is 15 October 2020, then the day, that is Thursday, and then the time, that is 9 p.m. Okay, somewhere even in some diary entry format the place is mentioned. In that case, you can just mention the place on the next line after mentioning date, day and time. Okay, after that even you can write like dear diary. Okay, begin like dear diary, and then you can come up with, I feel so vulnerable and annoyed at my state. I don't know if I can ever be a free denizen of the forest. Okay, now here is how you can just begin with the very great line to answer this question. First of all, you need to understand that you have to imagine yourself as the tiger and you are writing the diary entry for your own self. Okay, you have to mention first of all the helpless. You have to show that how helpless you are, how angry you are and frustrated being in a closed cell or the cage. Okay, finally you have to conclude with how you are setting out a desire to be free once in your life, to be free and to be free to roam inside the jungle. Okay, fine. So this is how you can answer to this question. Hope so you have understood this part of the question. Let's move on to the next one. Here is our second question for 5 marks, and the question is, imagine that man has been accused by the tiger of cruelty in an animal court. What would be the tiger's two major accusations and how would how would man defend them? Present your answer in 2 paragraphs. Okay, so first of all you need to understand the question. Over here the tiger has taken the man to the animal court and is putting on the major 2 accusations. Okay, so what accusations a tiger can put on a man, that we have to put in our answer. Okay, so this is how you can answer the first accusation by tiger in the animal court against the curator of the zoo. So here you can see directly, rather than mentioning about the man, I have put the curator of the zoo. Curator means the person who look after the zoo. Okay, so these are the accusations that the tiger is putting on the curator. Okay, my lord, this cruel man is the curator of the zoo where number of animals are kept in cages. In fact, I must say that this is the person who has committed a crime of making money by displaying helpless animals in concrete cells. He never thought about how we animals felt being trapped inside the cell without committing any crime. My lord, I want to see this person behind the bars and kindly compensate us by permitting the animals to visit him occasionally to click some photos along with him. Isn't it funny, guys? Let us see what the next accusation is by the tiger on this man. So the next half of the answer is, here is the next accusation by the tiger in the animal court against the curator of the zoo. My lord, How will you feel on serving almost same kind of food every day at a prescribed time? This cruel curator relishes himself with different delicacies but serve us almost the same kind of dish every day. At least he should have served something yummy on weekends. With utmost sadness, I would let you know, my lord, that most of the animals kept in the zoo are now unable to hunt for themselves. Isn't this a crime that because of this curator we have forgotten how to hunt? I sometimes feels like a domestic animal rather than wild animal, which I am actually. Now see, this is the way that I have answered this question. Okay, you can come up with some interesting ideas. Please let me know about those interesting ideas in the comment section. Moving on to the last question of this poem, and the question is, the tiger in the poem A Tiger in the Zoo presents a contrasting image with the tiger in the poem How to Tell Wild Animals. Compare and contrast the two tigers with reference to the manner in which they have been presented in both poems. Now, first of all, before going on with this answer, I would like to let you know that this poem, that is How to Tell Wild Animals, this poem is actually in the deleted part for the year 2021. That means this poem is omitted for you, right? Okay, but then this type of comparing questions can come where you need to compare these two types of different poems. Okay, and this question is actually given on the CBSE site on its question bank. Okay, on its official site in the question bank. Okay, so you should know that what is there in this deleted poem, right? Okay, so first of all, I would like to request all my dear students that please, if possible, go on with the summarization of all those chapters and all those poems which are actually deleted for the year 2021. Okay, fine. So first of all, let me tell you that what is there in this poem, that is How to Tell Wild Animals. In this poem, it is shown that how the animals are very free enough to roam, to roar, and to create terror in the mind of people in the jungles. They are very happy to be in their natural habitat. Okay. Now let us come up with the answer. So this is how you can answer. We can see some contrast in the behavior of the tiger in the zoo and the tiger in the forest. In the poem, the poet describes about the condition of the tiger inside the cage and then takes him to his actual habitat, that is the forest, in imagination. The poet narrates how the tiger can walk only inside the cage as he is trapped inside in the zoo. He walks in his quiet anger but decides to ignore the visitors as he felt his ferociousness is suppressed behind the bars of the cage. Though at night he used to stare at the white stars in the sky and hear the sound of the patrolling cars. Whereas if the tiger was in his normal habitat, he could have enjoyed his life the way he wanted. He could roam without any fear of being captured, run and search for his prey, and even scare those villagers by his loud, angry sound, along with his white fangs and claws. Finally, the concluding part could be like, in short, we can say that in the poem A Tiger in the Zoo shows that how it feels being away from our own home. On the other hand, the poem How to Tell Wild Animals shows the freeness of being in our own home in respect of the tigers in zoo and in natural habitat. Thank you so much, all of you. I guess I have met whatever the doubts you had with all these questions of this poem. In case if I have answered any of the questions wrong, or maybe your answer can vary from what I have discussed, feel free to let me know about the same. I will not at all feel bad about it. Fine. So meet you again with another part of another chapter and discussing the question banks very soon. Bye, take care and have a nice day all of you.